When someone you love is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, one of the first questions you may be asked is, should you use Lecanemab? And most families assume there must be a right answer. There is not. Families come to me all the time at this exact moment. They have a diagnosis, they have been offered a treatment, and they are trying to figure out what to do. What makes this so difficult is that this is the first time in Alzheimer's disease that we actually are talking about a treatment that targets the biology of the disease. So it feels important, it feels urgent, and it feels like saying no might mean missing an opportunity. You might be thinking, what if this is the treatment that stops my loved one's disease? Lecanemab is what we call an anti-amyloid therapy. It is designed to target amyloid plaques in the brain, which are one of the hallmark features of Alzheimer's disease. It is given as an infusion, and it requires ongoing monitoring, including regular MRI scans. But one of the most important things families need to understand is the risk. There is something called ARIA, amyloid-related imaging abnormalities. There are two types, ARIA-E, which is swelling in the brain. The E stands for edema, and ARIA-H, which is bleeding in the brain. The H stands for hemorrhage. And these risks are not theoretical. They are real, and they are measurable. Let me tell you how this showed up in my own family. When my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2024, she qualified for Lecanemab. Her condition had been recognized early enough because I saw the changes and I knew what to expect. Her brain imaging showed that she was in a high-risk category. She had enough microvascular changes that her absolute risk of developing ARIA, either swelling or bleeding in the brain, was about 15 to 17%. Absolute risk means that 15 to 17 out of every 100 people in her situation would be expected to experience that complication. As a family, we were not comfortable with those odds. So we made the decision not to proceed. And I want to be very clear, that was not an easy decision, but it was the right decision for her. What happened next is something I think is really important for people to understand. Because I have taught my family how to understand the dementia journey, because we have managed her psychiatric symptoms thoughtfully, and because we actively work to preserve her dignity, she is doing extremely well. In fact, recently, she read my first book, and a week later, she gave me a 5-star review, smiling with pride, telling me it was uplifting, easy to read, and that she especially loved the personal stories about real people and the ones I included about our own family. That is a picture of a person with dementia who is thriving. This is where I think a lot of people get confused. We tend to think that medical treatment is an obvious choice, that if treatment is available, the answer is assumed. But that is not how treatment decisions should work. Treatment decisions are always personal. They depend on risk tolerance, values, lifestyle, and even logistics, like the ability to travel for infusions and MRIs. My parents have always had a very low risk tolerance, so this decision aligned with who they are. If you are in this position, asking yourself whether you should use Lecanemab for Alzheimer's disease, these are the questions that matter. Do you understand the potential benefits? Right now, the research is showing that the benefits are very limited. Do you understand the risks, including ARIA? Right now, the risks for some people are very real. What is your loved one's risk tolerance? What are your family's values? And what are the realities of what this treatment would require? Is your family able to manage that? Are you able to get a loved one to an infusion treatment every 2 weeks? When I work with families, I always reassure them. There is no right answer, only the answer that is right for you and your family. There is no shame in saying yes, and there is no shame in saying no. There is only the responsibility and the privilege of making a decision that aligns with your loved one's values. If you are in the middle of decisions like this, you are not alone. I work with families to help navigate the tough transitions in dementia care. We meet online so that everyone, even if you're spread out across the country or the world, can be present and participate. Dementia care works best when everyone is on the same page and working from the same understanding, and I help families get there. I share more guidance at betterdementia.com, where you can sign up for my free newsletter and free video training.